Oh yes, legends, how's everybody doing? Let's analyze the situation here for the price of Bitcoin. Let's go. How are you feeling today, guys? Make sure to absolutely destroy that like button on your way in if you do enjoy the content. Let's go, guys. Smash it up. Let's analyze the situation here all together for the price of Bitcoin. If you did not watch yesterday's video update that didn't get too much love, guys, not too many views, not too much love. We talk about the different scenarios, the different probabilities. Now, is this triangle breaking out right now? Are we going to see higher levels? Is all-time high coming? Well, we're not out of the woods just yet. We need to start breaking some resistance levels, but it does look pretty damn good, guys, okay? We'll be talking about the levels of resistance for some possible scalp shorts, scalp longs, the levels that you need to take into consideration, guys. Let's analyze the situation here for the price of Bitcoin because you might be feeling bearish. I get it. You might be feeling bearish. It's exhausting. It's just going to range. It's just going to dump on our heads, right? Today's an important day. We do have the FOMC minutes in a few hours from now, okay? We do have FOMC minutes today, guys. So depending on what happens here, we do have the S&P 500 getting a nice little move up. But New York Open is not here just as of yet. Are we going to get that dump down, or are we going to continue pumping? Most importantly, we need to analyze the situation here for the price of Bitcoin. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. Let me go through the comment section. Say hello to the beautiful community. We've got over 250 people watching the stream. Let's go, guys. What are you feeling with Bitcoin? Are you feeling bullish? Are you feeling bearish? Let me ask the community right away, right now, guys. Okay, I'm going to start a poll. Are you feeling, how are you feeling on Bitcoin? How are you feeling on Bitcoin, for the next coming days, right? Or, for the coming days, let's say, right? For the coming days, are you feeling bullish? Are you feeling bearish? Let's go with bullish and bearish here as the options, guys. Let me know. I want to know the general sentiment of the people watching the stream today. How are you feeling? Are you feeling bullish? Are you feeling bearish? I want to go through my favorite thing, which is the technical analysis, okay? Looking at the levels, looking at the waves, understanding the timing and the different scenarios that could happen, just like I do almost every single day where you do have the video updates, guys. There's a few scenarios. Most of them lean bullish, okay? There was a bearish case that was coming to sweep up $105,000. But we've just been squeezing in this triangle throughout the last few days. Is this a fake out? Is it going to dump on our heads? Are we just going to swing failure pattern from this level and come down? Well, I want to explain how there's slightly low probability on this scenario, okay? And the main reason why is timing. The timing and the momentum here doesn't look too good for the price to actually form a swing failure pattern. It actually looks pretty damn good to claim 110.5K. And you might ask yourself, why do you think so? Right? Why do you think so? Why is this possible? Why do you think so? I'm going to explain it today, guys. This is why I'm here, right? So I'm very tempted in getting into a short trade, okay? I'm in no shorts. I let the Legends community, okay, and the Signals channel that I'm no longer in shorts at the moment based on this consolidation. I am tempted to get into a head short position here, but not shorting here, guys, okay? Not shorting, all right? So let's go right away and say hello to the beautiful community. Let me know if you are feeling bullish or bearish. Let me know, if you can hear me, if you can see me right away. We got some people joining in, almost 300 people smashing up the like button all together. Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. We are getting those likes absolutely destroyed. Okay, let's get them destroyed, legends. And let's say hello to the beautiful community. We have time to analyze this situation right now. Some of you might be very tempted to short these pumps, right? Shall we short the pumps? Shall we short the pumps? I am not shorting currently. I'm not getting into a short position. And I will explain right away. Of course, we have that, I am tempted. But temptation here is not how I trade, right? So if we do get that rollover, then we just have to let it go. There will be another great long-in opportunity that will be explained in today's live stream, okay? So make sure to stay tuned. We get some scenarios ready, guys. Let's go. Good morning. Let's effing go. All-time high today. Maybe it is a possibility. There is a bullish case scenario that in between today and tomorrow, we could actually squeeze up, especially we do have the news today, FOMC minutes. We do not know how this is going to turn out, right? Will it be bearish? Will it be bullish? The technicals suggest bullishness, right? Regardless of the news. So we are technical traders. We know that if you show me the charts, I can tell you the news. So for the moment, it does look quite bullish. There is a local bearish case scenario eventually that we need to discuss, okay? We need to discuss the bearish case scenarios. We can't always just be bullish, or bearish, okay? We can't be too cocky. We need to consider the bearish scenarios, which there are some, okay? We're going to discuss them in today's live stream, guys, okay? So make sure to stay tuned, chill out, grab your glass of water, your coffee, your beer, whatever you want, guys. I am here to stick around for over an hour, guys. We're going to keep it over an hour 30 minutes. We don't know. Let's go with the flow. let's talk about the different scenarios and the possibilities. But first of all, say hello to the beautiful community. Reza, hello. Hi, Andy. Hope everyone is fine. Reza, hope you're doing well. Hope everybody watching the stream right now is doing absolutely awesome. Pre-market opening in 10 minutes is marginally up, with small caps surprisingly leading the pack. We do have the Bitcoin dominance that is getting a little bit of a dip, guys. Surprise, surprise. What is going on? Is this only a correction? The massive trend is up eventually throughout the last not only few months, few years, guys. When is that altcoin season going to come? We are seeing some altcoins getting a bit of a pop, okay, based on this small little pullback on the Bitcoin dominance, which is good. Ethereum is leading a bit of the way, right? Ethereum's doing quite well. So we can take a look at some altcoins later on. I am positioned, guys. This is the moment that we want to get positioned on altcoins when you consider them as an investment when the Bitcoin dominance is going up, because then you're going to get the hype, then you're going to enter late. You want to be positioned when everything looks like crap, right? Not when everything's bullish. That's when you want to get out. So yeah, the game is simple, guys, okay? You just need to adapt to it. Mercy Reza Jan, how are you doing, baby genius? How are you? Bunny dominance is dropping. It is indeed. We are getting a little bit of a drop on the Bitcoin dominance, as Bunny is saying here. Smash the like and subscribe, says TS Pedro, Crypto King. Hi, Andy. Greetings from Macedonia. Oh, absolutely beautiful. How are you doing? Crypto Gardens, good morning all. Peace and love from Brazil. Oh, I love Brazil. I have been in Brazil. I went to, what's it called? 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝘽𝗽 in Brazil, which is beautiful. Hit the like, boys. World War 28. How are you doing? 208 actually. Thanks for the daily TA, legendary. What's up, legends? Alan. Okay, we're going to discuss a few scenarios here. BTC sucks. I mean, BTC is the best investment that I got in, okay, in the last 7 years, 8 years almost now. So BTC sucks because it's very rangy, okay. It is the summer, and we've been trading out 100K for, many months right now. So, yeah, we're probably not going to get the breakout to $200,000 just as of yet, guys, okay. We're looking at the local scenarios on the price of Bitcoin. I am now in a sniper short, says Chill Hills. It is kind of tempting, guys, but I need to go through the technicals, okay? I need to go through the technicals and analyze the timing, the waves, right? And I do see a rejection possibly happening in this area. It is very much possible, but I do like the bullish case. So let's go through the scenario. Somebody's saying I got into a sniper short at this zone. I am not too confident. I am really not confident based on the technicals, and I will explain it why in this video update. It all has to do with the peaks, where the waves have been formed, and the timing. What the heck is going on here? It seems like that the highest probability right now is a triangle structure here. And of course, just looking at the simple terms, a triangle in an uptrend, you would just say it's, highly likely it's going to break up, right? Keeping it in simple terms, easy peasy. Triangle in an uptrend, bullish pennant, we break up, that's it, right? Simple terms. The Elliott wave scenarios do point out that, this breakout is actually, very likely going to get continuation to the upside, and it will be explained in this live stream, guys. So make sure to stay tuned, okay? Make sure to stay tuned. Andy, are you bullish? I'm actually bullish. I've been bullish, guys. Hey, you're not ready. The video update, I've been bullish for weeks, guys. Been bullish for weeks. The momentum is up. There hasn't been any major drop. Come on. Where's the bearishness, right? Where is the bearishness when you take a look at this range? Yes, we corrected here. I'm long from down here. You could have gotten into a few scalp shorts here. Yes, let's say, okay, yeah, some possible scalp shorts. But this is not bearish, guys. The price is not bearish. Okay, and the technicals are not bearish. So we'll go through the different scenarios. Andy Legends, thanks for being here. You're very welcome, my man. Wes, you are not ready, guys. I know, a lot of people, well, probably right now, a lot of people are feeling bullish, but I have seen quite a lot of bearishness throughout X, right? Obviously, the perma bulls, right? Your favorite influencer is going to be bullish forever, right? He's going to be bullish in the bear market. He's going to be bullish in the bull market. He's going to be always bullish, right? Your favorite influencer out there that's doing these videos that are getting, tens of thousands of views, they're mainly only going to be bullish, right? I try and be bullish, bearish, because I'm a trader. I look at the different scenarios, the different levels, okay? But I need to say, I have to go with your favorite influencer here, right? Which is always bullish. And the charts are bullish, guys. We cannot deny that, okay? We'll be explaining the scenarios. I am not going to trade alts until BTC dominance is at 70%. Wow. Yeah, I mean, will we get up there? Maybe yes, guys. You know, we are definitely uptrending on the Bitcoin dominance, okay, to the upside. You know, nothing suggests that this is gonna change. But I can already tell you that the Bitcoin dominance, at some point, legends, at some point, it is going to get a big drop, okay? And when the Bitcoin dominance drops, it's going to drop in a few days and a few weeks. It's just going to be a waterfall, guys. It's going to be a waterfall, and there will be a transition from Bitcoin investment to altcoin investment. People are here to make money, and there will be that transition at some point. I prefer to DCA. I prefer to be positioned on some altcoins as they are getting wrecked, guys, okay? I get wrecked with altcoins till it reverses, right? Because that reverse will happen at some point, guys. It will happen, okay? It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of cycles, okay? You are not going to be here in Bitcoin season forever, okay? You're not going to be here forever. This will reverse. This will reverse as it has been doing so throughout the last few years. It's all about the cycles, okay? So you want to be positioned. Don't be that guy that says, I'm going to wait for a confirmation breakout. I'm going to wait for the price to pump 200%. Then I know it's bullish. That's BS, guys. You need to position yourself when the market is bottoming out, okay? ICP would be the best example here. I'm positioned, guys. You do what you want, okay? You do what you want, but this is where I want to get in. I don't want to get in on the pumps. I don't want to get in here. I don't want to get in, and, you know, I don't want to get in when the price is, oh, it's breaking the trend. Yeah, let's all long here, right? Let's all get into positions here. I'll be in that position already, guys, okay? And obviously, I want you to be positioned as well, right? You take that with a grain of salt. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm just telling you, you know, you want to be positioned, right, at very low levels on good cryptos, right? Trading this consolidation has been great for some grocery money. It's been a nice little range, nice little movements down and up, okay? Nice consolidation. Yeah, I mean, this is a scalper's paradise. I'm moving away from scalping, guys, and day trading. I'm getting old, and I have the money, so I want to get into, you know, chilled swing positions, really, okay? So let's go right away through the different scenarios. 3rd to 4th week of June, BTC dominance will top out and capitulate. Interesting. Yeah. I do see that happening eventually at some point, okay? Something interesting to take a look at on the data from the last cycles, from the last halvings, that the July and August have been bullish post-halving years, right? When we do take a look at the halving that happened in 2020, 2021 was bullish. July and August was bullish the year after the halving. Same happened here. 2016, we had the halving, and in 2017, which was the bull market year, because we are in the bull market year, 2025, according to the 4-year cycle. However, each cycle is different, right? Each cycle has some different movements, okay? So you wouldn't say it's exactly the same. The 4-year cycle is broken. We are in that year of the cycle still, guys. And Bitcoin is, you know, trading near all-time high, and this price action is corrective. It does not look impulsive, as we've been suggesting on the channel for the last few weeks. This is the main reason I am in some long positions in this area, okay? Just riding this momentum throughout the last few weeks, understanding that the most likely scenario at some point is actually hitting all-time high. All of the scenarios point out that all-time high is very, very likely, right? No matter how bearish you feel, no matter how, you know, no quantitative easing, no interest rate cuts till, you know, whenever, right? September or whenever. I do get it. And the range could actually continue. I'm not saying that all-time high is going to happen today. Could it happen between today and tomorrow? It actually could. there is an Elliott wave scenario that looks very interesting that would suggest all-time high, maybe before the weekend, guys. It's Wednesday today. So, and I want to talk about it. Okay. And it all has to do with this consolidation, with the new information that we have had in the last few days. Okay. That has been pointed out in the Telegram. It has been pointed out in the, signals channel. Okay. I do provide that information. I do provide the different scenarios. And one of the scenarios was this. Okay, I will explain this in detail. As we get the information, as we get the price action developing, we have new information, right? And that information needs to be shared to the members, right? That information is this right over here. We talk about a few scenarios, and this is one of them, right? Where, hey, this could actually be forming a triangle inside of a triangle. When you do have a A, B, C, D, E, your E wave can still be a triangle, which is rare, but there is a chance. You can either form a higher low here and attempt to break out, or move down and maybe move up here. This range could actually get the breakout when we were trading at 108.5K. It's a small movement. We're just testing the highs, almost testing these highs at 109.7K. But it's technical analysis, it's ranging, it's understanding the timing and the possible scenarios, okay? For the moment, that movement has happened. Could this triangle extend? That is my main deal here. The triangle could still extend. If you do not take out this high, which we missed by a few dollars, I have to say, right? Maybe on some exchanges it was hit. Let me just double check here this level, okay? Because ideally you do take out that high. Ideally you do take out that high for a kind of a confirmation. I mean, it has been taken out, so that this is no longer more a triangle. This high was taken from the price action of the last hour. So a triangle right now from this lower high and this one, it's no longer a lower high. I'm not sure on other exchanges. I mean, let's just, for the sake of it, let's just take a look at Coinbase or Binance. It doesn't really matter, but just to take a look at another exchange, yeah, we have taken out that high on Coinbase as well. So the triangle is no longer alive. The triangle, if it had to be a triangle, it's finished, right? And if the triangle is finished, well, we have all of our waves in place, right? Which would be this right over here. Okay, so when we do take a look at this peak, lower high, we got a new peak down, your A wave, a new peak to the upside, your B wave, a new peak down, your C wave, and then you have, when you zoom in very carefully, the highs right over here that you would have to label as your D wave. I was a little bit skeptical on maybe it's a fake pump. Maybe the D wave is going to be here. That is if you do not take out this high. So then is where you think, it could still be a lower high. It still could be a D wave. But if you do break out successfully and you do get continuation to the upside, right? And you break out successfully that high, this could be it, right? I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. The probabilities, are there. So we're considering this movement right over here from this pivot, A, B, C, D, E. In a triangle, you're looking for 5 waves, guys. It's literally labeled as an A, B, C, D, E. And this could have been the D wave high. And as you're consolidating in this range, you do have 5 waves, which would be labeled as your E wave. And then possibly look for that successful breakout, which is, is this it? Is this it? Is this the successful breakout, or do we have another bearish case? Unfortunately, there is another bearish case, right? There is another bearish case, but you would have to, bet on the possibility of the price breaking out here successfully. So for the moment, it's not looking too bad. It's looking pretty good. The triangle is no longer available because we have tested this high, and in a triangle, you want lower highs and higher lows. So you got a situation here as you tested this high. There's no longer a triangle. So the triangle could have been finished right over here. And when we speculate on the triangle, okay, on the breakout, what we're looking at here basically is this scenario, right? This scenario, we'd have to go to the 1 hourly time frame where you possibly have your finished three-wave structure to the downside here in an A wave. This is what we're looking at here. Even though if we do hit all-time high in the next coming days, or give or take maybe one week or so, the probabilities in shooting up here to go to $130,000, right, and absolutely moon, they are quite low. And the main reason why is because this right over here no longer looks too great to be a multiple 1-2 setup. Okay, multiple 1-2 setup doesn't look that interesting. This scenario is the one that looks more interesting right over here, where you do have a three-wave structure to the upside, okay, and an ABC to label it as your wave W, and you have a triangle that could have been finished, right? Could have been finished here, and now what we're looking at is the momentum to continue to possibly claim 110.5 and maybe all-time high, right? I would see a pullback happening, okay, and then maybe a leg up, but everything points out that that is definitely possible based on the information that we have on the chart. Okay, and of course your wave X here would be labeled as the triangle, and what we would want to see right now, okay, in the next coming days is some kind of a three-wave development that could very likely take out all-time high. This is the bullish case scenario. It looks good, it looks sexy. We've consolidated in a triangle coming from an uptrend, okay? So the probabilities lean to the bullish side, okay? Probabilities lean on this uptrend on the bullish side, okay? So let's go right away and talk about the bearish case scenario, right? Are you ready for the bearish case, right? Are you ready for it? The good thing about the liquidity here, taking a look at liquidity here, guys, there is significant liquidity, okay? If you told me that there is no shorts in the market and there is no liquidity above $110,000, I would be very skeptical about the bullish case. But there is a lot of shorts that have entered the market. So, yeah, we do have actually bullish CVD divergence that have been formed throughout the last few days. There's shorts entering the market, guys. And that's what we want to see. They've got higher lows on the price action. You've got lower lows on the CVD, like crazy, which is suggesting that pumpy action momentum. You want to sweep that liquidity. So we do have the liquidity to the upside. That's good, right? If there would only be long liquidations and only longs entering the market, I would be like, I don't like the long situation, guys. There's too many longs entering the market and we need a reset. As we do have the shorts, let's try and claim that liquidity, right? So let's talk about the bearish case, which for me, is decreasing significantly in probabilities at the moment, and I do see a high probability in attempting to hit 110.5k plus, right? Which are these lower highs right there. That's where we have the main liquidity sitting right above all of those lower highs, which is this one, and this one, right? That we did not claim that previous high, so it's just a perfect liquidity pocket. Everything suggests that there's higher probability that we do get up there. Okay, so let's go right away and talk about the bearish case, because we do talk about bearish case scenarios. We can't only be very, very bullish or very, very bearish. We can talk about the probabilities. Probabilities lean up to the upside, but I mean probabilities were leaning for all-time high ever since we created this low over here. We've been talking about this is going to be a range, and all-time high is just a matter of time since we created that low on the 6th of June. So I mean, obviously this is a scalper day trade paradise, right? When you're ranging here, but let's talk about the bearish case. And it's not too bearish. It's actually coming down maybe to sweep 105k, which is losing probabilities at the moment as we get this momentum pumping. It's just decreasing in probabilities that we actually do come down to sweep up this low for the moment. And the main reason is timing and the waves, okay? And I'll explain that right away, right? You want to understand as a chart analyst and a trader, when does a move gain in probabilities, right? When do you gain in probabilities to actually pump, or when do you gain in probabilities to actually dump? And it all has to do as well with the waves and the timing of the different waves. So let's just talk about the bearish case scenario that we did talk about in the last few days, which is this one right over here. Okay, it's this one right over here. This has lost the possibility at the moment, and it all was thanks to the new information that we got in the last couple of days. The information that was given in the last few days was squeezing in a triangle. Okay. Now there is a problem when you continue the range, okay? And the problem mainly is the timing, okay? And the possible triangle structure, which is squeezing up here, coming from an uptrend. The probabilities are actually breaking up, right? I think that's not too difficult to understand, right? Even the basic technical analysis, right? Bullish pennant coming up from an uptrend is breaking up, right? So if you want the simple answer to that, well, there it is. But if you want to go a little bit more complex into understanding the momentum and the waves, right, is timing here, right? This was one scenario that we talked about, right, where there is a possibility of forming a three-wave structure here to the upside that has finished in a wave W, and you could form a three-wave structure to the downside to sweep up that low at 105K. Right, where you have the naked point, the point of control of the range, right, which is no longer there based on the new price action. But if you do take a look at the fixed range from the 8th of May, right, till the, give or take the 2nd of July or so, that point of control was sitting here. That's where we got the bounce very nicely, okay, on the 2nd of July at 105K. I was liking this scenario for an epic long position, right? Sweep up those late long positions, right? However, we are having more shorts, so it seems like the price wants to sweep up the short liquidations, right, above 110K instead of coming down, because we are getting bullish CVDs, we are getting that liquidity, right? It is up there, guys. You cannot lie about this; it's there. So the main reason why this scenario decreased in probabilities throughout the last 2 days is the range formation. I would have preferred the price action to form this as your lower high over here, and then the price action really start gaining that momentum, right? You had the last 24 hours, right, to actually break down. You had the last 24 hours to actually break down, right? You want to see the momentum starting to break down. If you continue consolidating in this triangle, you have a time issue. What do you mean about a time issue? Please explain. Well, basically, if you are looking at this movement to the downside as your initial A wave or your impulsive wave, you don't want this corrective move to be 5 times longer for the next movement to the downside. Can it be 5 times longer? Absolutely, but it just decreases the probability. You want the timing to be, maybe a 1-to-1, maybe a 2-to-1, right? That's a perfect lower high. So the scenario of breaking down here was definitely there. It was definitely there here, okay? Could it still be there even though the timing, is a little bit overextended, right? When we do take a look at Fibonacci time from this pivot high to the pivot low, if we're considering this impulsive move down, it's just about being a 4-to-1, okay, in timing. Could this be an ABC flat? Absolutely yes. I mean, the timing is getting a bit extended. When it becomes rare, it's when it gets to the 5-to-1 or the 6-to-1, okay? That's when it becomes extremely overextended. This is 5-to-1 in timing. So you right now just under a 4-to-1 in timing. So could it still be that this movement to the downside, okay, and this is how I would want to label this scenario. Your A wave right over here, this is your B wave, and we're still going to get that leg down to 105K, right? To form a zigzag, form a 3-wave structure. Is it still possible? Absolutely yes. It is overextending in timing a little bit, but it's still very, very possible. And what you've been forming in this zone okay, instead of a triangle structure, which is, what we're speculating at the moment, right? To see if we do get that continuation to the upside, is a ABC flat, okay? So let me just label this as that ABC flat right now, just so you can understand, the different scenario. I wouldn't be surprised. I would just realize that the bearish case would be an ABC flat, right? Let me just label this as, slightly bigger here so we can, we can understand, right? So the idea here, right, of the other scenario, which is the bearish one, which is this one right over here, okay, is that you formed a three-wave structure to the upside, a three-wave to the downside, and inside of this wave, that's your impulse, that's your main leading wave to the downside. And right now, you could have an ABC flat, okay, which is just slightly got to the highs. You did not claim these lows, but you hit the 0.9 Fibonacci, which is the minimum target for the flat. And then the price does reject from here, okay, to form that C wave. At the end of the day, what we're looking at is 3 waves or 5 waves, right? This is the discussion that we have right now, right? If you are speculating that, this would be a short trigger and stop loss would literally be 110.3, 110.4, right? Very close to those highs. And your target zone, not only the lows, even these lows right over here. So, I mean, the short trigger based on the swing failure pattern from this high, on the speculation that there is an ABC flat, a tight stop loss. If this does play out and it does get that dump, you're literally looking at least to sweep up these lows at 107.4K. And potentially, get a larger breakdown, and then obviously we'll be targeting 105K, right, which is that higher low. In a nutshell, it's just forming the range. It's continuing to form the range, and you got that 3-wave move up, and you're looking for a 3-wave move down, and then you would be looking for that 3-wave move up to claim all-time highs. So, in a nutshell, all-time highs is what we expect here, regardless if you claim 107K and even 105K. What we would be looking at is all-time high, regardless if the triangle is the main pattern here, okay, or this scenario, right? So, I mean, short is acceptable here. Short is definitely acceptable based on this scenario, okay. This is an acceptable short trade with good risk management. Yeah, because what you would be looking at here is this being an ABC flat, right? You just swept up that high, and the bullish case scenario would be that triangle, right? Which is on its first leg up. When you're considering trading setups, this would be a quick liquidity grab from this high. It's kind of an SFP, right? I did see people in the comment section saying, sniper short position here at this zone. The target for this drop is literally coming down to these lows at a bare minimum, right? So it's range highs to range lows. And when we consider the waves, you would really be looking for this scenario. So, I mean, it's an acceptable scalp shorting zone. Let's be honest here. Based on the different probabilities, based on the different scenarios. So, yeah, let's see how the price develops in the next coming minutes. We are getting a bit of a drop right now. So the price is dropping down. We do have previous week close, which has provided resistance throughout the last couple of days. I mean, it would be quite crucial for this area to maintain as support. It would be quite crucial to maintain this resistance support flip. If you lose this zone, it's not going to be looking too attractive for the very local bullish case, okay? Because as mentioned, the probabilities is claiming all-time highs at some point. It doesn't mean we need to claim all-time highs today, okay? We do have that bearish case scenario, which has the potential to come down to 105K. I am not worried about this. This would just bring an epic opportunity depending on the reaction eventually here, right? If we do lose the level, then I'm not really too interested. I don't want to lose that point of control right from this range. Preferably we don't lose it, right? You can get that fake out, but ultimately, would be looking for a reclaim of the zone. And once we reclaim the zone, that's where I want to get into that, next big long swing long position, right? All the way up to all-time high. So the bearish scenario is possible locally, okay? We cannot just say it's going to happen. This was the triangle. It still looks very good for that triangle. Let's be honest here, okay? We did form a very, very nice pattern here. A, B, C, D, E. You got a nice triangle in your E wave. Now it's time for the bulls to actually, step in for this scenario and actually try and reclaim 110.10K. 110.5K, right? So still good, still okay. Aggressive short trade, with good risk management, could have been that kind of swing failure pattern at this level. It's a bit of a sniper short position on the reaction. Give a bit of room for stop loss, and you could be targeting the lows of the range. And that is purely based on that ABC scenario right over here, right? Where you got your first leg to the downside and you got an ABC flat, and then you get the next breakdown, okay, to claim the lows. So this would have been the best day trade shorting level, okay? Obviously, you would want to get in at highest level possible on the rejection of that high, and give a bit of room, be a bit defensive, not risking too much, because you need to understand that the bullish case is still very much possible, right? Which is that triangle structure. We are getting that pullback. We've claimed the highs. I mean, this is very, very natural performance, right? You claim some local highs after a breakout of a triangle, right? And you get that pullback. So, I mean, you want to try and short at the highest level possible. If we're speculating on the bearish case, right? This would not be an interesting zone to get into a short or a long, in my opinion, based on, giving both scenarios a possibility, right? The bearish one and the bullish one. So let's go right away through the comment section. Say hello to the beautiful community. See what other people are saying. We got some bullish news that I want to discuss in today's live stream. Let me know. Some people sniping the short position as we claim those highs, which is a very acceptable short, guys. I have to say, it's a very acceptable sniper short. We do have, the S&P 500 still getting that pumpy momentum. We do have some very important news today. We got the FOMC minutes. You just never know how this is going to, affect the market, okay? In a nutshell, when we do consider the different scenarios, the most bearish scenario locally here is claiming $105,000, okay? Which would be fine. Any bears out there, this was your best shot for a short, right? As we do claim those highs, give or take a bit of room. It's only another trade setup. I'm not in the short position myself. I'm only in longs for the moment. I'm very tempted in the short. Obviously, when we day trade, you always want to consider having a hedge short position. And without a doubt, this is the best zone to get into a hedge short position, regardless if you're long from here, if you're long from here, if you're long from anywhere in this uptrend. This would be the best hedge short, because if this is the bearish case scenario that's happening, we are looking at least to claim 107.4 based on that three-wave structure to the downside. Of course, this has the potential in coming down to 105 because we're just looking for a three-wave move up, a three-wave move down. You know, you get the deal here, right? And after this movement, obviously, I would expect this zone to maintain. And then what we're looking at here is a three-wave to the upside to finally claim all-time high. So, yeah, just a little bit of the different scenarios that could develop here, guys. It's all about taking action. It's all about managing risk. It's not about being right or wrong. It's understanding the probabilities and understanding where you need to get into the trading setup, right? So let's go through the comment section, say hello to that beautiful community as we get that like button absolutely destroyed, guys. How many likes do we have on the stream right now? Hope you like the explanation. I hope you did like the explanations, guys, right? It's all about understanding where to take action on your trades. It's not about being right or wrong. It's understanding what has higher probability and understanding both of the scenarios, right? And where you can hedge against your short or your long position, right? So let's say hello to the beautiful community. We'll go through some news. We can take a look at some altcoins. If you are interested in joining the Telegram Signals channel or the Discord, make sure to hook me up, guys, on the first link down below. This is where we do provide the information, the possible setups, different scenarios that could play out, okay? Education. To join the Discord or the Telegram, hook me up right away. Join the community, the first link down below, and we'll hop you in so you can take your trading experience to the next level, guys. Okay, let's go right away. Say hello to the beautiful community. Very interesting, says Baby Genius. Thank you very much, Baby Genius. Much love to you. Smash up the like button. Sing Games is here saying hello. Smashing up the like button. Let's go. Thanks again, Andy. You are a legend and a goat. World War 208. I wouldn't say I'm the goat. Okay, there's a lot of people that are very, very good. I just know how to trade. I know how to manage risk. I'm not the best TA guy, okay, in the world. Eventually not. I could say that I can defend myself with TA and look at the different scenarios. But yeah, if we do reject from this pivot, you know, there is that risk right now. You know, this is literally the rejection point right over here after claiming this high to potentially claim these lows, right? It's just the level. This is the rejection zone to potentially claim this low. And if this low is broken, then eventually we're looking at this low, right? In simple terms, right? But there's that bullish case. There is the bullish triangle, which I do like very much, guys. I like it very much. I mean, today in the community, I was like, oof, this looks sexy. This looks very sexy. You can form a triangle inside of a triangle in your E wave. You just need to be ready to take the shot. Okay, and this was, you know, I am very bored. I'm very, very boring, guys, when we consider trading. I'm waiting and waiting for the price to give me information, and then I'm like, here it is. There it is. That's what I'm looking for, right? And this is, you know, literally that scenario, right? That, you know, you can consider that it could be the scenario that's playing out, right? Still good, right? Which would be that triangle right over here. This is the attempt breakout. It's the attempt breakout from that triangle. Will we manage to squeeze through here? Well, we're going to have to see in the next coming hours, right? And this is for a big swing. This is a swing of several $1,000s with the potential of hitting all-time high. It does have the potential. Why does it have the potential of hitting all-time high? Because when we consider the you know, the structure here, if you are finishing a wave, which would be a triangle, you got a zigzag to the upside, and you have this triangle. If this is the end of a triangle, what we are developing right now is a new fresh wave to the upside. So it has the potential not only to hit 110K, but even all-time high, because it's a new possible fresh wave development, right? And when you create a new fresh wave to the upside, when you've finished at a low, you have that possibility, right, of expanding here. Bang, right? Get that movement. It's a nice swing. So, yeah, I just wanted to give that explanation here, guys. Let's go through the comment section, say hello to the beautiful community. Oh my goodness, I got too many comments here. Sorry, my bad, guys. I'm being a little bit slow here. Let's see how many likes we can get, guys. You will not see this anywhere else. These explanations, you will not find it, guys, locally on the different scenarios. You are not going to find it. You're going to see some random moving averages on a chart and some very, crappy, triangle structures. But the explanation in detail based on the waves and the timing, okay, is what you're going to see here. Let's go right away through the comment section, say hello to the different people. We'll keep the music low and we'll take a look at some different scenarios, okay? On altcoins, we can take a look at altcoins. Which ones do I think they are at good buy levels? I keep it simple. I like Chainlink. I like Chainlink where it is. I like ICP where it is. You don't need to have 50 altcoins, guys. It's fine to have 10 altcoins or 15 altcoins. Make sure that they are good projects and that they do have, 5, 10x potential in the next coming months. I try and keep it very, very simple. Just took a long position, stop loss at 108.9. We are bullish, Andy. Whew. That is it is a brave long position. I mean, the uptrend is there. You got the momentum. I want to try and catch those breakouts, okay? Yeah, we probably, maybe the VWAP is sitting here. Yeah, we got the VWAP. We got the previous week close, which is obviously maintaining that support here. We did get resistance from the previous week close just yesterday. Yeah, I mean, it is a local scalping level of support, not going to lie. It is a support level, okay? You want to try and hold this area without a doubt. VWAP, previous week close, break down, fake out with low volume, consolidate in this zone. And that's, where I would say, okay, this looks good for the price to actually, form a higher low. We need a bit of choppiness in this zone. Long in here is a little bit aggressive, in my opinion. With my style of trading, it is aggressive to long the pumps. Okay, so I was, actually considering the possible short trade eventually, but from this high, it would have been better to get into a short trade from higher levels. Momentum is bullish. The triangle could still be in play. It does look good. If we are considering this A, B, C flat, I mean, we need to figure out a 5-wave structure here in the C wave, which it does not look too good. It looks very 3-wavy, and it looks very, you got a wave here, you got the triangle here. Yeah, for this to be an ABC flat, which would be the bearish case scenario, and this is why I always analyze the lower time frame to look at the probabilities. There is definitely an issue here. There is definitely an issue for that C wave. Could there be a way of counting a 5-wave move up here? That you need to go to lower time frames. It would be a little bit of a headache. But it does look still good for the triangle breakout to succeed. Okay, it does look good to succeed. If the bears need to win the battle here, based on the first leg down, ABC flat, which is extending in time, it is extending in time for an ABC flat here, then the clear zone of rejection is the highs from Monday. This is the clear zone of rejection. For the moment, we're holding the previous week close, not quite reaching the VWAP, the session VWAP. But if the price needs to reject, if it has to be locally bearish, looking at the technicals, it is simple. Sweep up the highs. This has to be the lower high. The bearish case scenario is that movement down, in this impulse and an ABC flat, right? And then eventually you're looking to claim these lows. I am having a hard time to look at this as a 5-wave structure, guys. So for me, what looks better and what looks highly likely is the triangle, which is this, right? We had the possibility of finishing the triangle here. And if it did not finish here, then eventually we would be looking for that, possible higher low here regardless. And this is information that has been provided in advance in the Discord, okay, to form a higher low here, potentially break out already, or in the signals channel. If you are interested in that, make sure to send me a message. Join the Telegram, guys. It's the first link down below. It is your chance right now to take your trading to the next level, right, where we analyze the different local movements. Okay, let's go right away through the comment section. 5 second on 100x can equal liquidation. Yeah, stay cautious, guys. You're not making money here in a big move, right? You're not making money a massive amount in 1 day or in 2 days. This is a long exponential track record. Grow your trading account, okay? Grow your trading account with trading setups. You are going to get stopped out, but the overall exponential growth is month after month, okay? So there's trading opportunities every single week. You just need to take the right ones. If you take the right ones, you'll be making money at the end of the month. That is guaranteed, right? If you take the good trading decisions. But I know most of you want to make, the jackpot in a couple of days. And most of the people, not only take the jackpot, you give the jackpot to somebody else, right? And you burn your account. It's just trading is not easy, guys. It is a very, very long road of development and knowing where to get into the best trading opportunities. But it is possible. It is possible. A lot of people saying leverage trading is gambling. Well, that's because you've lost money. I have a track record. I can make consistent gains trading. So anyway, and you want to learn from people that do have a track record, right? They do have solid analysis and they can provide the analysis and the possible movements, not just random moving averages, right? There's so many different fake gurus out there nowadays, and they'll just talk about some random moving averages and some random pennants that a lot of the times are going to play out. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, anyway, let's go through the comment section. I'm not here to discuss that. Who's short, guys? Says Boomer. Who's in a short position? I'm in this zone. How is Spain treating you, brother? Matthew, my man, CBM, who's an absolute legend. Make sure to go and subscribe to CBM 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗻𝐶cie. He is here in the comment section. Spain is treating me great. I am eating like a maniac. I'm having paellas. I'm having pambolis. I'm having all sorts here. A lot of squid fried. A lot of beers. But yeah, I mean, I hardly take any holidays, guys. I hardly take any proper holidays, from trading and from YouTube and from other businesses. I really am the kind of guy that, is just full on, right? And sometimes you need to have a little bit of a chilled moment, guys, in life, because you can burn out. But make sure to take a look at, check out CBM, guys. He's an absolute legend. He provides insane content. Okay, he's down below in the comment section. It's this guy right over here. I know a lot of you. He's doing extremely well on his YouTube. He's getting massive engagement and he's providing great information, guys. So make sure to check him out. He's actually growing very, very well. So shout out to 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗻𝐶cie here. Much love, brother. I actually play tennis with him in Dubai. And he just bought a new racket. Anyway, he's here down below in the comment section, guys. Make sure to check him out. Much love. Bulking season. Yes, it is. Paella in Spanish wine, says Baby Genius. Yes, I like beer, wine. I'm on it, guys. I'm on it. And yeah, I do continue with my fitness. I have been for my 7-kilometer run this morning, and also yesterday. You know, I always keep fit, guys, regardless if I eat a little bit unhealthy. I usually eat cleaner in Dubai. Anyway, let's go through the comment section. Andy, Uni looks strong. Let's take a look at Uniswap. Shall we take a look at some altcoins legends? What are your thoughts? Okay. What are your thoughts? Today's a big day. We got the funk minutes. Woo. I'm maybe gonna have to go live here, guys. That's when we're gonna get lots of people joining in to see the volatility. But I'm sure your favorite influencer, right, is gonna be live potentially, right? I know Tom Crown, got nothing but respect for that guy. He's gonna be live without a doubt on the funk minutes. Let's go. Can you take a look at Algorand? Woo. Algorand is also an awesome project, guys. It's getting a little bit of pumpy action as we get the Bitcoin dominance, getting a little bit of a pullback. But when you zoom out, guys, holy moly, this is the moment of excitement. It's going to happen, guys. In the next coming months, it's probably going to be a little bit more boring for a few more weeks throughout the summer, right? It's probably going to be a little bit more boring. I'm not saying it's not. But when you get this pump and you get a dump and a consolidation, you know the deal, right? When you get a pump, a dump, and a consolidation, you know, it's not math. Of course, the timing is the issue here. Algorand looks awesome. ICP looks awesome. I got several thousand ICP that I'm ready. I'm ready for the gains, guys, in the next coming months. Could we dump down and claim the lows again? Absolutely, guys. We are in still this corrective structure. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Keeping it simple here, guys, for the viewer. Bitcoin. Are you ready? Are you ready for new all-time highs? The overall question is, will we get them? Will we get that all-time high in the coming days? There is that potential based on this scenario. There is the potential based on this scenario. We're breaking out. We're testing highs. It's time for the bulls to step in. If the bulls don't step in, then we got this scenario. Regardless, all-time high is expected, right? There is currently no massive bearish case of breaking down. The only bearish case scenario that there would be, which is, you know, it's kind of, it is still possible, is that we are looking for this to be an W wave, an X wave right over here. And, you know, you are going to be forming some kind of a triangle here in the next coming weeks, which is definitely possible to finish your Y wave, right? But it's still possible. It's still definitely possible, but, you know, we need to go with the momentum. The momentum is for the moment bullish. It doesn't look incredibly, you know, it does look like it's getting exhausted, but there are shorts entering the market, guys, here in the last few days. There's lots of shorts entering the market. And we do have the liquidity heat map that tells us that, you know, the liquidity that we do have up is pretty damn interesting. Pretty damn interesting short liquidations that we do have. Of course, leaving us with lots of longs. Okay? Lots of long liquidations as well. All of these scenarios that I've been explaining about taking out all-time high, they are corrective. That we have a problem here for the price to actually continue in very bullish momentum. And the problem is that you have your wave to the upside here, your corrective wave here, the next wave to the upside here, and we would have to label this as a double 1-2. However, we have an issue with this 1-2 scenario. For this to be a double 1-2 and break out in a third wave, 4-5, 4-5, you know, it's just extremely bullish. I'm not going to short directly the all-time high, guys, but I would be interested in shorts. The problem here about this being a multiple 1-2 setup, which would be this scenario here, is that the correction is the issue here now, okay? With the new information that we have, this wave to the downside and then this bounce, and this one here did not claim the lows. It did not claim the lows. And for an ABC, regardless of a zigzag or a flat, in this case we had the flat here, to not claim the lows of the A wave is extremely rare. Extremely rare to not claim the lows of your A wave. So we need to develop other scenarios, right? Which is why we talk about the triangle, why we talk about other sets of scenarios. So the double 1-2 here to get an explosive breakout in the next coming days and weeks is would be rare. To get massive continuation here, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, right? Hit 120k. This would be rare. This is not the highest probability scenario looking at the information that we have on the chart. So yeah, all-time high has high probability, but the all-time high touch, all of them suggest that we could be forming a very large ABC flat, which is a zigzag down, a zigzag up, and a fast move down to claim 98k potentially after hitting all-time high. So I would be eventually taking profits at all-time high, even above 110.10k, 110.5k, sorry, just considering the flat structure. Just because we are decreasing in probabilities at the moment for this to be a 1-2, 1-2 and shoot up. And one of the main reasons why is because this ABC did not claim the lows of the B wave. And this is very, very rare in a zigzag or a flat, right? Not claiming the lows of the A wave is rare. So if that did not happen, I'm having a bad time. It is possible, but it's just very rare. So I'm not labeling this as your double 1-2. Where's your 2 here, right? And if this has to be your 2, and then you have another 1 and 2, another rare thing is hitting the 0.88 Fibonacci, even though this movement to the upside is very 3-wavy. A 3-wave move up, yeah, we're not considering it an impulse. So we're not talking about this being a another 1-2 setup. You've retraced too much and you formed a 3-wave. So that goes in the bin. We're not considering that scenario. We're not considering this being the low. So it has to be here. And if it is here, it's just very, very rare to see a ABC with the C wave not taking the low of the A wave. And that's when you come to the conclusion that this right now, this scenario that we've been talking about in the last few days, is decreasing in probabilities. To get an explosive breakout, hitting all-time high has high probabilities still regardless on all of the scenarios. But the continuation breakout to explode and hit 120 and 130, that scenario is decreasing in probabilities because of the new information that we had in the last few days. Right? So it's all new information gives you different scenarios and different probabilities. So this one right now is decreasing because of the new information that we had, right? For this to be a wave 2 is like, it would be very, very rare. Out of 100 times you will get a zigzag that doesn't claim the low of the A wave. Out of 100 times you might see it once or twice maybe. So, when we consider the percentage probabilities, it's like low probability at this moment. So, based on this new information, if we would have claimed the lows here and then pump up, then I would have said, guys, maybe we are building up here multiple 1-2s and this is insanely bullish. But as those lows were not claimed, and we're not considering this the low, because we moved up in a 3-wave structure and this retracement moved to the 0.88 Fibonacci, being extremely rare for a wave 2. It's just very messy. So this is not the low for the wave 2, and this would be rare for the low of the wave 2. So yeah, we need to consider that this is still very much possible. I'm liking more the triangle because we have a beautiful triangle. We got a nice E wave and a triangle here, and the triangle looks still good. But we always need to consider a bearish case, and the bearish case would be this one. Okay, local bearish case would be this one, guys. And if the bearish case needs to play out, this is the zone of rejection. This is the zone of rejection based on this movement down, ABC flat, and another leg down, which eventually would bring you that three-wave structure. In a nutshell, it would be a three-wave structure. Okay? So any shorts that want to, take play, this is your zone of rejection without a doubt. This is the area of rejection. So yeah, let's go right away through the comment section, see what the people are saying. Andy, isn't a triangle correction too shallow, ending at above the 236? That is also an issue here, okay? That is great, man. This is absolutely awesome. Dimitri, shout out to you, brother. This is something I actually talked about in the video update on the Discord. That is 100% true. It is a bit shallow for a correction, this triangle, considering this scenario. Okay? 100%. Shout out to you, my man. When we take a look at Fibonacci from the pivot low of this pivot to this three-wave move to the upside, we only hit the 236 Fibonacci. This is very shallow, without a doubt, to consider an X wave. So absolutely right there, my man. Okay, you have a three-wave move up. You have the triangle, but the triangle only retraced to the 0236. So that is definitely an issue here. It is definitely an issue. Okay. Usually the retracements are 382, 50%, give or take, right? When we consider a double zigzag, most commonly would be 382 to 50% here in this scenario. So it is a very shallow pullback. And this is why we need to consider the bearish case scenario, which is this one right over here. Okay, we are getting actually a nice little dip at the moment. Price is dropping pretty aggressively. Price is getting a pretty nice little dip of a few $100s at the moment. So we're gonna have to see if we do find a little bit of proof of support in this area. Would be crucial to maintain these lows. If we don't, price is dropping right now as we speak. S&P 500 getting that drop as well on the market open, getting a nice little pullback. So yeah, if we are going to get that corrective move down, then eventually this does have the risk, right, of coming down to these lows. As mentioned, if you are going to reject from this area, your target zone is this low over here, and even the lows if you successfully break down, right? Because you're overall looking for a zigzag, and inside of the corrective move you have a flat. I'm not, the C wave flat here, for me, it looks very three wavy. It just looks very, very three wavy. It's not the greatest scenario for a C wave in a flat. It's just, you could possibly on the lower time frame figure out a five waver here. But sometimes you just need to zoom out on slightly higher time frames and understand, looking at the structure. If you have this pivot high, you got the movement down, and you have this scenario here, you always need to consider a flat. right? In this case, in the uptrend, you got the flat. In this case, you have a three-wave structure possibly finished. And if you have this leg down, which looks pretty aggressive, this is a bit of an aggressive move down, you need to consider the flat here. So, I mean, the short speculation should be coming, inside of very close to the highs here. The short speculations should be coming into the highs that we formed on Monday. All right, managing risk very well. If you shorted here at 109.4, 109.3, just managing risk accordingly, and being defensive. If the bearish case has to play out locally here, you are targeting these lows. You are targeting these lows right over here. So, and if you break these lows, then eventually you're targeting these lows. And that's where I would be expecting proof of support. Possibly a fake out or a successful breakout, but overall reclaiming the 105k level. So yeah, I mean this would just bring an awesome, I would actually go in pretty heavily here on a long position if we do see proof of support and we reclaim the lows. In this range, it has been it's a bit of a scalping paradise here. If you're interested in movements of $1,000, then that's what you should have been doing here in the last few days. I'm generally not that interested on these small movements, especially right now as I am in Spain and I'm, literally not actively day trading and scalping. Literally looking at bigger swings, okay, with lower capital, just keeping it a more chilled way of trading. Especially as I'm, not in Dubai at the moment. I will be going to Dubai at the end of July or so, and it's going to be time to make money because, spending some money like a maniac. Let's go right away through the comment section, see what the people say. But I mean, it's the target zones as well, guys, right? Regardless if the bullish case or the bearish case plays out, it's understanding. If it does reject from here, you need to understand the pattern. You need to understand the wave down and the ABC flat. And your target zone is without a doubt the lows of the range, right? You're shorting areas here. So in this area, you don't want these highs to be claimed. That's where you need to have, you're close to your stop loss. You're projecting the movement down to sweep up those lows. So that's basically what you're looking for here on this setup, regardless if the bullish case is going to play out or the bearish one. It's understanding where you would want to get into the short, right? Which would be here, in this case for the short trade, right? Longs at this moment, right? When you're pumping, as someone mentioned, I'm in a long position. You do not want a long as you're testing a resistance when you have a bearish case. You don't want to long from lower, right? You want to be, defensive. If you're long in here, the pump, and you're FOMOing in, you need to understand the bearish case. So it's all about knowing exactly where to enter that position. So yeah, it looks like that, maybe right now with this rejection, this is what we could be looking at for the price of Bitcoin. Whoever got into some shorts in this area, congratulations, because this could be the movement down that gets us $2, $3, $4, maybe even $5,000. First target zone would be this low, and eventually, if the price does dump down with a bit of power, your second target could be 105k. Okay, so let's see how the price does develop. And if we do move down in an impulsive move to the downside, which has been a pretty nasty movement down, yeah, we could be forming an impulsive move down here. Okay, volume is kicking in, big rejection at the moment. And if we do form, okay, a corrective structure, all right, we do claim these lows, that would be a bad sign, claiming these lows. If we then get that small little bounce, very three-wavy with bearish CVD divergence, then the next leg down eventually could get that breakdown. And what we could be looking at here is this scenario right over here. So let's see how the market develops here in the next coming minutes, coming hours. This could still be, it could still be the triangle if we do not lose these lows. It could still be the triangle. The triangle had a great attempt in breaking out. But the retracement right now has been very, 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 very strong and powerful. And that's the moment that you need to consider the bearish case, which is this one right over here, right? It's just realizing the zones, right? The zones where if the bearish case does play out, if you have a pivot high right over here, and you have an aggressive move to the downside, and then you have the wave up, the wave down, and this way, you need to consider the triangle, and you need to consider the ABC flat to form a larger three-wave structure. And of course, if this has to be the corrective structure, which was a bit extended in time, but it wasn't hitting, major invalidation levels, okay? Which would be like 7 times longer, 8 times longer. If it's 3-4 times longer, it's still just about in the timing, which is just under 4 times longer from this wave down. Still okay. It is stretching it. ABC flat and then movement down is without a doubt, a chance here. Let's go through the comment section. Say hello to the rest of the people that are joining right away. Matthew, much love to you, Mattia, who's been here in the comment section. What do you think about BTC dominance? Thank you, Andy. Bitcoin dominance looks absolutely epic, guys. Okay, it is in an uptrend, but it's just a matter of time. Bitcoin dominance is getting a pretty aggressive drop down now as we speak. Okay, so maybe some altcoins. Well, we do have Bitcoin dropping down, okay? So maybe some altcoins such as, ICP, Ethereum, they are probably getting a pullback at the moment just because Bitcoin is. Even though the Bitcoin dominance moves down, if Bitcoin moves down, then eventually you would expect the altcoins to get that pullback, followed with Bitcoin as well, okay? So Bitcoin dominance, still uptrending, still could continue this uptrend, guys, in the next coming weeks, but it's a matter of time. In 2025, I do believe, regardless if it's going to be after the summer, August, September, that we will be getting that pullback, aggressive drop, and it will be a waterfall, guys. At some point throughout the next coming months, I'm expecting a waterfall. September, October, November, maybe August. It's just a matter of, it's likely going to happen in the coming months, okay, based on the timing. So you really want to be positioned, right, before that epic collapse happens on the Bitcoin dominance, right? Because that's when the altcoins are going to start pumping here, okay? So that's what I think about Bitcoin dominance. Just a, very, very simple explanation. I am also in a sniper short, says Supreme. The sniper short would have been that SFP, right, from that level, right? Try and get into the highest level possible. Literally stop loss, close to these highs, give or take a bit of room, and you would be targeting these lows. That would be your target zone for this short. So stop loss, right, and this would be your projected move as a target 1, and if it were to break those lows, then eventually we have the risk of coming down to 105k. So yeah, S&P 500 got a little bit of a dip, getting a little bit of a bounce at the moment. Let's go through the comment section and see what the people are saying. Bybit bros are shorting. Yeah, we've probably got a lot of shorts entering here on Bybit. Bybit bros are shorting. That is correct. Okay, we do have Bybit in the yellow here, and we do see the Delta with open interest Bybit bros are shorting very aggressively here throughout the last hour. As you can see, okay, we've got negative delta here and lots of shorts, open interest. Bybit bros are definitely shorting, as we can see here in the yellow. So we've got some aggressive shorts entering from Bybit. Looking for that strong rejection. Let's go continue through the comment section. Will you consider the short after 5 waves down, 3 waves up? Dimitri, absolutely. This is something that I need to update eventually. The the community, the Discord, right? But that's one scenario that I would consider if we do form bearish CVD divergence, which still looks a bit difficult, but it could be formed. Yeah, bearish CVD divergence doesn't look like it's going to be forming here unless we get a massive rally on the CVD from some of the exchanges. We are forming bullish CVDs on Bybit. But yeah, bearish CVD divergence, higher highs on the CVD and lower highs on the price action. I would consider that possible short trade. Okay, it's going to be a little bit of a chilled scenario, not massively in a rush to get into the short, but as we do claim these lows and a bounce here in a 3-wave chilled structure, at least to the 50% Fibonacci, I would definitely consider that short trade. I would stop loss above this high. This has to be the high right now if we are considering the wave down, ABC flat. And then, if we are going to get that continuation to the downside, this has to be your high. Has to be your high. I would still give a chance for the bulls locally. I would still give it a chance. But it's not looking too great as we are sweeping up these lows here, which would have to be, it would have had to be the end, right, of that corrective structure. I would still give it a chance to the bulls. Would still give them a chance. But yeah, I would really consider that short position if we move up here. Right, we get a bounce, we correct down, we get a little bit of a bounce. I would consider the possible short. So yeah, some people, we were talking about the short position at the beginning of the stream, purely based on the bearish case scenario, which was this one. Okay, zooming out ever so slightly just to understand that scenario is, if this is going to be the 3-wave move up and we have, a possible 3-wave move to the downside. The triangle is looking very interesting, but we're getting a big rejection at the moment, something that we do not want to see when we consider the bullish case. The best shorting level in a nutshell, unless you get a very clear 5-wave down and a very clear 3-wave bounce here, very, very shallow bounce with bearish CVD divergence, then that, you can consider that being a good short position. But the best short position, without a doubt, considering the bearish case scenario that we were discussing at the beginning of the stream, is, sweeping up the highs and rejecting. Well, eventually it's a swing failure pattern, right? Where you have the leg down here in that impulse, ABC flat, not too sexy based on the timing. Obviously your short trade would have been best at 109.4, which I didn't trigger. I was very tempted in that short hedge. Okay, just understanding that this movement not only has the potential to come down to 107.2k, which is the lows of the range, as without a doubt the target of this movement, but even breaking down to the lows here from the 2nd of July, which is at 105k, purely based on that ABC flat here, and what we're considering all of this being a 3-wave structure, right? 3-wave up, 3-wave down. We're just consolidating here in the last few days with this flat. But but the triangle is still very much a scenario, right? The triangle is a bit still much of a scenario there is a bit of an issue right now with the triangle, and that we've claimed the lows. If you break out in a triangle, you need to consider that this has been your low. If you form a triangle and you get the breakout, you want to see continuation to the upside. If you do get a retracement, because this is the end of this correction, label this as you wish. Say that this is your wave W, right? And this is your wave X. If you want to get that continuation to the upside, if you claim the lows of that pivot on the potential scenario of this being a triangle, right, and this being the end of the wave, you want to form a new fresh wave here and form, continue the bullish market structure without claiming that low. Okay? When you claim the lows here, from the triangle, then you're probably looking at something else. There's no longer a new fresh wave, because if it is going to be the end of the correction here in your triangle, the new wave that you form to the upside, you do not want that retracement to claim the lows of this wave, because this supposedly should be the end of the wave and you're forming a new wave to the upside. The moment you claim that low, which is kind of the case right now, is the moment that it's not looking too great for the bulls. So yeah, that's something that definitely will taken into consideration right now. This is why the short scenarios as a scalp day trade to the downside do look attractive. This bounce right over here does look attractive for a possible short to claim the lows. Of course, if we suddenly V-shape, which doesn't look like we're going to do that. So, as explained with this triangle here, you don't really want to come down to, to claim the lows of the triangle. If you have an A, B, C, D, E, and the E wave is a triangle, coming down to sweep up the lows of the E wave, you've broken the idea of getting bullish momentum here, okay? You've broken the idea of getting that bullish momentum. So, yeah, it's definitely something that you want to take into consideration, and that claiming the lows here, and even if it breaks down the 107.2, you have the potential of hitting 105k, right? That's when the probabilities change here with this scenario. I think the bulls will react very angry. Andy, you seem more bearish when we are at the top of the range. What indicator are you looking at will make you bullish that we will make the range? I'm actually, Andy, is the bullish scenario over? Actually, very bullish, guys. I've been bullish since we had this correction right over here. Okay, been bullish for the last few weeks, guys. Regardless of the local bearish scenario that could be possible, I am bullish. Okay, I am looking for all-time highs in the very near future. So it's just realizing the internal levels and scenarios based on the new information that we have in this consolidation. Okay, but regardless, all of the scenarios point out for all-time high. Okay, the most bearish one, there is a bearish one that does take out 98k. It just doesn't look too great at the moment, just because it's not symmetrical. You have the potential of it could not be a flat. Sorry, my bad. You have a zigzag down, zigzag up, and obviously a flat would be attractive. However, this movement to the upside hasn't hit the minimum requirement for the flat. Okay, which is literally hitting the 0.9 Fibonacci, which was almost touched by a hair. Almost touched. Minimum requirement for that flat scenario is hitting the 0.9 Fibonacci, which was missed by a hair. Okay, right over here, as you can see. So if you are considering a very bearish case scenario in this zone, to take out 98k. For the moment, we don't have it on the chart, which would be that zigzag down, 3-wave up in the B wave, but you need to hit that 0.9 Fibonacci to break down in a 5-wave structure, right, to form that larger flat. But the flat target hasn't been hit, which is the 0.9, so we're not considering this scenario. This is why I'm not talking about the price hitting 98k. Likely scenario, the most bearish one that we have locally here before hitting all-time high would be claiming 105k. Maybe 104. It doesn't matter, right? But overall, sweeping that low and then getting the acceptance back above it. And that would be generally looking for this as a 3-wave up, 3-wave down, right? And then eventually that 3-wave move to the upside, with the general idea here of the local bearish one, which would be this scenario here, right? That is one scenario that's still possible. And that's, if you did get into a short position, it's a kind of level, it's a kind of short position that you would want to hold. And these are your TPs, TP1 and potential TP2. And if it does reject, it literally needs to reject from this area, guys, as explained. This is the area of rejection. This has to be the high if it is going to be the bearish case. And eventually your invalidation is this high right over here. Because if you take out the 110.5k, I would be looking for, something like this, right? A 3-wave structure to the upside of some kind of, because you got a 3-wave up, you got your correction, and then another 3-wave up. You're literally looking for a double zigzag. And there's no many bearish case scenarios. Possible rejection locally here at 110.5k, but regardless, I would still look for the momentum to form a higher low if this is going to be the bullish case, right? So yeah. 𝗬𝗍𝘆, the man, the legend himself, is here in the comment section, guys. Make sure to go and check out 𝗬𝗍𝘆. He is an absolute legend. He is a coach in the Legends trading community as well. Make sure to go and check out his YouTube channel. Let's get that like button to above 300 likes. I'm also 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗍, absolute legend. If it were to be bullish, what possible outcome that could come out of the current pattern? Yeah, it's getting a little bit complicated right now with this scenario. It is getting a little bit complex based on claiming these higher lows. There is a little bit of an issue here, without a doubt. We would have to give it the valid possibility. In that A, B, C, D, E. Yeah, it's definitely an issue. The other bullish outcome would be that as this is still a higher low, right? There's still that potential of this being an impulse, ABC flat, another impulse, and this is some kind of a corrective structure, regardless if it is the triangle or not. I don't like the idea of this being an ABC. It would be better as a WXY, just because not claiming the low of the A wave is extremely rare. It's very, very rare. The momentum is bullish. The bullish case scenario would be that this is some kind of a corrective structure, and that regardless of you claiming the lows of this triangle, the momentum, is bullish. So you would still look at this as the impulse, still look at this as the correction, still look at this as the correction as well, if the price does manage to break out here. According to this triangle, it's not looking too great, as explained before. You know, could we label this being the low maybe? And this is a higher low still after the breakout of the triangle. It definitely can. You know, as explained before, when you form a triangle and you break out from the triangle, you do not want this retracement to get beneath the lows of the triangle, because you're probably looking at something else. You know, could you label this as the low, right, from that triangle? Yeah, you know, there definitely could be a scenario. Definitely could be the scenario. You've missed out by a hair here. Because what you want to see after the triangle breakout is a new wave development. You want to form a higher low, right? You want to see the momentum forming a new wave. And the moment you get beneath the triangle, is that this means that it's a failed breakout, right? And what you're looking at potentially is something else. So this is like probably getting missed by a hair. But it's not looking extremely great, especially when you have a triangle in your E wave here of the triangle. When you get down below the triangle, which is the end of the wave, right? This has to be the end of the wave here of this, you know, speculative triangle. The moment you sweep up the lows of the end of the wave, you're literally not forming a new wave up, right? Because if this were to be a successful breakout, you want to see a clear higher low. This could be a little bit of a discussion right now. Did it sweep the lows or not? Was the lows in here when you micro count, or was the lows up here? You know, that is I think it's a little bit of the battle right now in between the bulls and the bears. You know, have we got beneath the end of the wave of the triangle? That is a little bit of the question right now. I mean, let's zoom in on the lower time frame. See this is the I mean, you could still label this triangle on the lower time frame. I mean, it's not looking that great. As an A, B, C, D, E. I mean, the E wave, no, this cannot be the E wave. Yeah, it's not looking too great. You know, the best scenario here, A, B, C, D, E would have been the best option here. Instead of this being the E end of the triangle, this one here makes more sense. So not looking incredibly great. Right? So, I mean, if you get, you know, if this has to be the end of the triangle, you know, there's a bit of a discussion right now. Was this the low or was this the low? But on the pullback, you do not want to get down below the triangle, because this wave has been failed basically, right, to the upside. A little bit of a discussion here. I would still give it a chance. But we need a bounce like very aggressively in the next hour. We want to see that bounce being epic. So we could label this as, you know, wave 1, 2, 3, right, 4, 5. You actually break out here. So a little bit of a close invalidation, depending on which low you choose here for the end of the triangle. Yeah, a little bit of an issue here. But anyway, regardless, anybody that wanted to get into shorts, you know, the best option would have been that swing failure pattern. You know, maybe a bounce here. It would still be good if you do bounce very three wavy here in the next hour. You know, very choppy. If we get bearish CVDs, even better. You know, you would have to speculate on the possibility of the price coming down to these lows and then these lows. I mean, that would be your target zone. But we need a very three wavy bounce. We want bearish CVD divergence, right? You want to see the planets aligning, and if you do suddenly get a V-shaped recovery here from this bounce, then eventually I would throw the bearish case out the window, right? I wouldn't speculate on the price forming a lower high if we just continue pumping here and ripping throughout the lows and the highs. I would just say, right, it's bullish. If you were to move up here, very three wavy and a consolidating bearish, pennant, if you wish, then I would say, yeah, I mean, this probably gonna roll over. But if you V-shape now, yeah, there's just literally no short to be taken. If you pump, then you just let it go. If you bounce, you form a higher low and a lower high here, and you form this kind of price action, then it's like, yeah, we're probably going to dump down. But if you V-shape, I don't want to get into a short on a big pump, right? If you're pumping here, I'm not interested. I would be interested in the slow movement, right? Unless you catch a swing failure pattern, which is the option here to get into the best position. So overall, I mean, the bullish case, I would still say it is still possible. There is a little bit of a discussion right now based on the triangle. Did it get below the lows of the triangle? You have an A, B, C, D, E, right? The low here, and this is just a 1, 2, 1, 2, bang. You're still forming higher lows. I mean, this is trading, right? It's the bullish case on the triangle, right? You would not want to get beneath the E wave from a triangle, and that's the general discussion right now. The triangle technically has not been invalidated, right? Because you could count this. You could count the E wave right over here. You can count the E wave, this one right there. You can count, this one of these two. And as you do have 5 pivots in the triangle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is still a higher low. Maybe this new wave to the upside is only developing 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, right? 4, 5, 4, 5. It's still a higher low. I would say the hard invalidation of this triangle would be sweeping up this low at 108.1K. Because regardless if it's not too symmetrical, you just need to follow the pivots. And, this could still be a 1, 2, 1, 2, and you break out in 3. So this is like the proper hard invalidation, even though I like the idea of an E wave forming the triangle. And if that were to be the case, it has been invalidated with this movement down. But technically speaking, maybe the E wave was this one, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D, E. Move up, higher low, move up, higher low. You have the potential of forming that third wave to the upside. So bears need to defend this area. The bears need to defend this area. The bulls need to defend this higher low. Let's go right away through the comp section. Got the music. Music's gone down, guys, at the moment. Much love to everybody that has joined today's live stream. Little bit of a squeeze range. We got some interesting news later on today. Make sure to trade safe, guys. The bearish case scenario would be coming down to $105,000. That's the most bearish case that I do see. Bullish case is that you maintain this higher low and the momentum continues to the upside. The moment you claim this low, this would be high probability that you're going to claim 107.2K, okay? So yeah, that's the main discussion here on this consolidation. That the bullish case is still very much valid, okay? It's still forming, that higher low is still getting, still there. It is true. I like someone that pointed out on the stream that it is a shallow retracement when we consider this a 3-wave structure, the triangle, and a breakout in a 3-wave structure to the upside in the next couple of days. It is true that this X wave has retraced to the 0236 and in a double zigzag, preferably it's in between the 382 and the golden pocket. Actually like the preferred area of a retracement for a double zigzag. Just something that does, it makes you consider about the probabilities, right? That getting a shallow pullback on a wave X for a double zigzag at the 236 Fibonacci is, it is a bit rare. It is a bit rare. Okay, so this is the craziness of technical analysis, right? On the probabilities, where everything changes very, very quickly. You got a bullish case, you got a bearish case, you got invalidations. Now it's bullish, now it's bearish. Mainly for the scalpers and day traders, you can go a little bit crazy. We are getting bearish CVDs with the retest. So we're getting bearish CVD divergence. There we go. Here could be a little bit of a we got bearish CVD divergence here on Bybit US dollar tether pair. There's been lots of longs entering right now. We've got some ever so slightly bearish CVD divergence that could impact here the scenarios. We're also getting some bearish ones right now on Bybit US dollar pair. Lots of longs entering here out of nowhere on Bybit. So we're getting a little bit of a battle here, guys. This is the moment of decision, right? As mentioned, bearish case. As mentioned, the bears need to reject from this point. They have the potential eventually of not only hitting the 107.2K, but even 105K. And the bulls want to break out. They want to see this triangle being they want to be seeing the end of this correction. 3-wave move up, corrective structure here in that triangle. There's a bit of a battle right now, especially when we have news today. It's going to overall decide the direction. The overall direction, regardless, in the next coming weeks, if not days, is claiming all-time high, regardless if we get down here or not, guys. The overall direction, the overall bias is hitting all-time high at some point. Guys, remember you have in the pinned comment, okay, an awesome bonus from weeks, okay? You do have $100. There's only about 10 left, guys. $100 if you link your phone number with your email, you get $100 for free, guys. $100 for free to use for trading. You also got 25% fee reduction on your trades here on weeks when you sign up with the first link down below. And you also got Bluffin. Bluffin is a great exchange, okay, where you do have also 20% cash back. You only need an email and a password. You got both of the links down below, guys, for Bluffin or for weeks, second link and fourth link. Not much more has to be discussed on Bitcoin. A little bit of a battle here in between the levels. Lots of longs, lots of shorts entering the market as we do see the CVD divergence. Make sure to trade safe. If you're interested in knowing the updates on the possible scenarios that I'm looking at, my trading setups, make sure to join the Telegram, which is the first link down below in the description, guys. Hope you liked today's video. Hope you liked the live stream. Much love to everybody. Much love to you, Aditya. 𝗬𝗿𝘆𝗽 here, flat inside the last Y, absolutely also possible. Make sure to check out 𝗬𝗿𝘆. He'll be going live soon. Thank you, everybody. Trade safe, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.